So at any given time, I have a certain amount of tools and stuff to fix things with on my bike. I had recently put a Leatherman knife on the fork, like down by the actual quick release dropout area. But I was riding around yesterday, and it was raining pretty hard, and the leather of the Leatherman case started to kind of droop a little bit, as I guess leather will do in the rain, and that in conjunction with the fact that, there's a lot of vibration and things like that. I felt like having it all the way down there was going to eventually cause it to break, because it was definitely getting pushed down lower and lower with each bump and everything like that. And then as the leather itself started to soften and sort of droop, I had to pull over and I want to say redistribute, but I put it in a different location. So now it's hanging right here. I took it out of the case because I'm about to go over my tools. So I just zip tied it to my stem. And look who it is, a little char-char. And so now it's pretty easily accessible and higher up and somewhat protected from the rain. Not really, but more so than being right next to the wheel. So I think that's a pretty good location for it. And I wanted to go over real quick just the tools and implements that I have on my bike at any given time, just because you gotta have crisis be averted as much as possible, or what is it, plan for the best, expect the worst, and whatever the fuck the phrase ends with. So currently, let's get this light a little bit more cooperative. Currently, 2 different tubes. I always carry at least 2. Currently, these are 2 different sizes because I have 2 different wheels on my bike. And one of them is a 25 millimeter, and so I have a 28 by 34 millimeter tube here, which doesn't fit very well inside of a 25 millimeter tire. And so I have a 25 millimeter tube here for that wheel specifically. However, this one can be used in the 28 by 34 in the event that I run out of this one, and vice versa. So this is sort of a preferential thing, and it's not really preferable to have 2 different tube standards carrying around, because it does make it more difficult if I need one more than the other. I don't have a spare necessarily, but tubes in general are something I like to keep a lot of on hand, just so that who the fuck wants to not have a tube when they need one? So, oh shit, this is about to fall. Got like 1,000 wheels here. Probably need to. Ooh, it's moving. How about you guys not fall? I do have them stuck on here, so they shouldn't really fall out completely, but you never know. Junk them back in there. Alright. Anyway, yeah, always have a bunch of tubes on hand. A friend of mine, his dad, had tons and tons of tubes on hand, and I remember being in college and seeing that and being like, man, that's something I want, a bunch of tubes. Like, it's kind of like having spare toilet paper, which, speaking of which, that's a new thing that I just decided to start carrying with me. Just a little bit of toilet paper, just enough for an emergency, better than not having any at all. And after going to do the Birmingham ride, or not the Birmingham, but doing the 200-mile ride I did recently, it's not something that I would never go out on a ride with bad diarrhea or anything like that. If I was already feeling like that, I would just not go. But if something happened on the road, I don't know, you eat something bad or whatever, not a bad idea to carry this so that you can have that. And in conjunction with this, a little thing of hand sanitizer. So, just in case you have to use it, you can clean up a little bit. Got the mini pump. Again, this mini pump I've featured a lot before, but it's great, it's durable, it's made of plastic, so it doesn't really, doesn't seem to be as susceptible as the metal one was. Pretty basic multi-tool, nothing flashy, just basically the essentials. tire irons. Got a bunch of rubber bands wrapped around one. I only really need one tire iron for the most part, so using the other one to hold rubber bands. Got some glueless patches, and I also have some quick links in here. Quick master links, in fact. Since I started to ride 10-speed, I need to throw a 10-speed one in there, especially since I have some extra 10-speed ones currently. Little egg is barking. I think the black ones are 10-speed. So, let's see. Is that a 10-speed? Yeah, that's 10-speed. And then that's a 10-speed. So, I'll throw that in there after this. But yeah, this has glueless patches and an 11-speed master link. I carry a Cliff wrapper as a tire boot. I bought some really shitty Corsa tires once, and they had a horrible, catastrophic tear in them after less than 100 miles, and I used a Cliff Bar wrapper to get home. And so it's a pretty durable piece of plastic if you think about it. Hard to break and tear unless you're using the perforated edges that are intended for tearing. So keep that with me. I usually have a Cliff Bar anyway, since that's what I tend to carry with me on rides. But just to make sure all the bases are covered, carry an extra one, just in case I didn't happen to have one. Got a chain breaker, pretty lightweight. Nothing too spectacular about that. A lighter wrapped in duct tape. This is a bit of a hack from the Appalachian Trail. Never hurts to have a lighter, and certainly never hurts to have duct tape. Got a spoke wrench in case you get a spoke breaking out when you're on the road. You can true the other ones to make up for the lost one. Chapstick, more useful in the winter to have that just as a general thing. Collection of long and short zip ties. I was able to use these and just had to restock actually. Used these the other day when I was just now talking about the Leatherman. I used these to restrap it to my stem. Spare set of headphones, corded ones, because I typically use Bluetooth headphones, but those only have a battery that lasts for about 5 hours, and so once those die, it's nice to have an extra pair of headphones that won't die, and keep them in a plastic bag so they last a little bit longer in those inclement weathers. And then the Leatherman itself. So, this thing doesn't really have many more, tools on it than the actual multi-tool that I use, but it does have a set of pliers and I guess other things that might be useful, whatever the situation may call for. So this is something I'm happy to be holding on to. It's pretty heavy. I don't really know how heavy it is, maybe half a pound or so, but I'd rather go slow and have everything I need than go fast and get fucked, getting stuck somewhere and not being able to go anywhere just because I didn't have the right tools to fix the situation. You got to be prepared. I have a coworker at the place I work, and he recently got a new bike, and I was recently looking at it, and I was just noticing that he had nothing on it for any kind of repair. Didn't have, I don't even think he had water bottle cages, which, to be fair, he's mostly using the bike just to commute, so you don't really need water bottle cages per se. Come on, Egg. She's screaming out here. But I have 4 water bottle cages, so if I see a bike with 0, I feel like it's missing something. And so, yeah, I mean, if you're not even going to carry so much as a pump or a tube or a tire lever, I mean, especially with all the rain we've been having in these mean streets of Atlanta, like, you're going to get a flat eventually. It's just it's a numbers game, really. Something bad will happen eventually. Like me the other day, going for that jump and then having my entire bike, the drivetrain, just disintegrate underneath me. It's because I carry all this shit that I'm able to not only Well, it's carrying all these things that allows me to address the situation and basically be self-reliant. Self-reliance is something important to me. It's one of the things I like most about being on the bike, because typically I'm by myself. So the things that I carry with me allow me to be able to competently and confidently go out and go far by myself and not worry that I don't have what I need. I pretty much always know that I have what I need. I'm looking at the SL right now. Short cage 105 derailleur on a 32 tooth cassette. Just got them jockey wheels grinding. Anyway, I don't remember if I mentioned it last night, if it was before or after the fact, but I ordered a long cage Tiagra derailleur and a braze-on front derailleur for the bike, so I'm going to be rebuilding that with the original components again. It was only $60 for both of those, so might as well save myself the headache and set the whole thing back up the way it was. Kind of kicking myself now thinking about that though, because I already pulled out the cables for the front derailleur, so now I'm gonna have to fucking put those back. This is all frayed. That's sort of a bummer. Anyway, not a big deal. It'll just be something to do, so that'll be cool. Yeah, tools, man. You gotta have your fucking tools. And I'm also thinking about ordering a fork, a Surly Midnight Special fork, and also putting that onto the Fuji SL. I have had some bad luck with Fuji forks in the past. I broke one, and I'm willing to chalk that up to coincidence and not thinking that there's something inherently weak or wrong with Surly forks. But in any case, I think I will put that Surly fork on this bike. I'm contemplating getting a white one, although black is really more my color, and I probably will go with black. But yeah, so put that Surly fork on here. It's a Surly fork, so it has a bunch of braze-ons and bells and whistles and stuff like that. It's made for touring and all that kind of stuff. And then I would just leave the aluminum fork on this Fuji, so that this Fuji remains in this configuration, because I certainly am more apt to ride this bike if it has that disc brake. I think it just raises the competency level and my confidence in the bike as a whole if it has that functionality. And then I have a bunch of quick release wheel, or not quick release. I have two through axle front wheels that I could use with that fork, so I can actually leave that wheel on the Fuji and not have to be transferring wheels back and forth. And I can also put these old Fuji SL wheels to use, which is good because they're just kind of sitting here not doing anything. And I really need to go through all these wheels because I don't need them all, and I surely could get rid of some of them one way or another. So maybe I'll do that, because they keep wanting to fall, and that makes me mad when that happens, because it scares me and it potentially hurts me. So might go through that today. I mean, it would take 2 seconds to do, so I might as well, because one of these wheels is just fucking trash. I just need to throw it away, and I can pull out those other two Fuji front wheels and keep those out, and probably should just sell this thing. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and yeah, man, that's that.